9th of June 2023. Welcome for tuning in to your number one station for news and updates. I'm your presenter Abdurrahman Yusuf, and tonight these are the stories that are making our headlines. Somaliland respond to United Nations Security Council statement on last Anod conflict. Somalia seeks to tail off corruption with arrest of high-ranking government official. Over 20 children die in an accidental explosion in Koriole, Somalia. Glad to have you back. Now let's delve into a full bulletin where we begin with a heart-wrenching story. Terrorists have attacked the Pearl Beach Hotel in Lido, Mogadishu. There are multiple casualties. We've heard of 2 explosive blasts, and there is currently still underway heavy intense gunfire fighting between the Al-Shabaab terrorists and the government officials. A large number of publics have been rescued from the hotel. The government officials of Banaadir region state that the casualties, or rather the number of individuals who have died in the incident, are yet to be established. Stay put for more stories in our subsequent bulletins. Now, as we delve into a full bulletin, the government of the Republic of Somaliland requested further help and understanding of the United Nations Security Council on June 8, 2023. Amid escalating violence in the contentious city of Las Anod. Despite the Council's call for peace, Somaliland worries that their efforts are being undermined by misunderstanding of the actual situation. The government of the Republic of Somaliland requested further help and understanding from the UN Security Council on June 8, 2023, amid escalating violence in the contentious city of Las Anod. Despite the Council's call for peace, Somaliland worries that their efforts are being undermined by a misunderstanding of the actual situation. Since February 6, violent clashes between the forces of the self-declared state of Somaliland and the local militia of the Dulbahante clan have been taking place in Las Anod, which is part of the disputed Sol region. A total of 299 people lost their lives in this conflict, which also threatened regional stability and caused chaos, as well as 1,913 injuries and over 200,000 displaced people. The statement from Somaliland comes amid the UN Security Council released reports regarding the conflict in Las Anod. The United Nations Security Council reaffirmed its dedication to the unity and integrity of Somalia. The Council demanded that Somaliland security forces to move out from Las Anod and urged restraint due to concerns over civilian deaths, injuries and displacement. The head of the UCID party in Somaliland, Faisal Ali Warabe, disputed the Security Council's legal right to discuss issues involving Somaliland, claiming that Somaliland is not a member of the United Nations. It lacks the standing to participate in such discussions. Despite this, the Security Council continued to urge Somaliland to withdraw its troops from Las Anod and engage in peaceful negotiations in spite of Warabe's pleading for them to either recognize our existence or leave us be. President Bihi of Somaliland was urged to withdraw his forces from the SSC regions by Garad Jama' Garad Ismail, a member of the SSC Supreme Council, who threatened retaliation if the request was disregarded. Ismail claimed that the defense of their territory against what he perceived as an invasion by Somaliland was guided by the advice of religious scholars. These claims, along with the allegations that their neighboring Puntland state of Somalia is escalating the conflict and that Al-Shabaab presence in the Sol region is rapidly growing, were made by the Somali government. According to Somaliland, the solution to the conflict in Las Anod lies with the withdrawal of Puntland's military. The United Nations Security Council's most recent statement on the conflict has received the support of the Supreme Council of the SSC Khartoum State, also referred to as the Garads. They interpret the UN's participation as a confirmation of their ongoing campaign to force Somaliland to leave. They interpret the UN participation as a confirmation of their ongoing campaign to force the Somaliland to leave the SSC territory. The traditional leaders have been pleading with the UN Security Council for a more forceful response. Amnesty International investigation revealed that civilians' areas have been shelled indiscriminately, resulting in critical infrastructure being damaged and thousands of people being displaced. Calls for de-escalation and serious negotiations to facilitate a legal ceasefire have been made in response to the shelling. Abdullahi Muhammad Ali, the Director General of the Ministry of Labor, Social Affairs, was taken into custody by the Somali police forces on Friday on suspicion of corruption and misuse of the government property. Abdullahi Muhammad Ali, the Director General of the Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs, was taken into custody by Somalian police forces on Friday on suspicion of corruption and misuse of government property. Although specific trial dates have not yet been made public, the Office of the Attorney General confirmed that Ali will be brought before the court to answer these allegations. Allegations of widespread public corruption plagued President Mahmoud's first term. As a result, the president supported legislation earlier in May to increase accountability and transparency in the administration of Somalia's financial resources. The recently passed laws which target public corruption specifically were approved by a cabinet led by Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre. Somalia consistently scores poorly in the Corruption Perceptions Index, a yearly study published by Berlin-based watchdog Transparency International, underscoring the country's ongoing battle with corruption. Somalia held the regrettable spot at the bottom of the index for 13 years straight from 2007 to 2020. It briefly trailed Syria and Sudan in this dubious distinction in 2021. However, Somalia was once again identified as the most corrupt nation in the world in 2022 Corruption Perceptions Index (CPI) with a pitiful score of just 12 out of the 100. President Mahmoud dissolved the Judicial Service Commission and the Anti-Corruption Commission by the executive order in October of last year. He instructed Parliament to name new committees, claiming the selection process was against the provisions of the Provisional Constitution. The country is still reeling from the collapse of the state institutions in 1991, an event that enabled patronage networks to take control of the economy and perpetuate a climate. A tragic incident in Morale as over 20 children lost their lives in an accidental explosion of an exploded ordnance. The incident occurred in the village located between Koriole and Janale in the Lower Shabelle region. A heart-wrenching story. Here is a full story. The village of Murale, located between Koriole and Janale in the Lower Shabelle region, was thrown into mourning following a tragic incident that claims the lives of over 20 children. The incident involved the accidental explosion of an exploded ordnance that had been left behind in the area. According to local residents, a rocket fired by the Africa Union Transition Mission, ATMIS, landed in Degan district. The missile had fallen outside the area but did not explode initially. However, local children who were playing in the vicinity found an exploded ordnance and brought it back to the village to play with it. The ordnance detonated, resulting in the loss of over 20 lives, mostly children and young adults. The incident has left the community in shock and mourning as they struggle to come into terms with the sudden loss of their loved ones. The use of an exploded ordnance in Somalia is a significant concern as they pose a severe threat to the safety and well-being of civilians. These ordnances can remain active for extended periods and, if not disposed of appropriately, can cause significant harm to unsuspecting individuals who come into contact with them. The incident in Morale highlights the urgent need for increased efforts to clear unexploded ordnances from conflict zones. Meanwhile, Al-Shabaab, a militant group active in the region, has accused foreign troops, specifically those from Uganda, of indiscriminately shelling civilian areas around Morale. It's unclear whether these allegations have any basis in fact, but they highlight the ongoing security challenges in the region.
waa gartay
raajin ku dheedeeyaan ku qoran ayaal badan oo banooni dheelayaan meeshaasna waxa ku lafwaani 22 qof 3 qofna ma aragtay waxa la keenay isbitaalka Qoryoole isbitaal bareefada oo ma aragtay 3 law meesha ku dhinteen waxa loo soo qaaday Muqdisho markii la qaadan dhaxdu ku soo dhigaasin oo soo celi
tirada guud ee dhimashada marka waa imisa
20 qof
waay hidaadooda imisa u kala dhaxaysaa marka
wallahi عيال كمدو لبا 12 جير وايا اديغا دادو midka ugu yar waxa way adiga inta 15 u dhexeysay ilaa iyo 10 sano waa intaan way kulli
waayahay ka maamul ahaan idinku marka ma ogtihiin waxa inta gabar ahayd inta wiil ahayd marka
maya hal gabar kuma jirin
waa gartay tuuladan oo dhibaatadu ay ka dhacday qoryooley imase kiiloomitir ay jirtaa noo sharax bal
5 kiiloomitir ay noo jirtaa
waa gartay gudoomiye waxaad ii sheegtaa waxyaabaha oo ay sababsadeen ama dhibaatadan maxay yihiin si rasmi ah ma ogtihiin ma madfac la riday mise waa
madfac hadda la riday ma aha wadankan dagaal badan oo soo maray waxyaabaha haraadiga dagaalka ah oo ERW oo dangerous area ah cayaalkii waxaan dadkan wacyigelin u baahan yihiin aqoon uma leh waxyaabahaas ay ku dheedheelaan waa aqoon u leeyahay birli hadda tire iska soo qaadatay oo dhibaatada meesha kaga imaatay horena tiirtaana waa ugu dhacday qoryooley 2017 February sideed qof hal maalin ku dhimatay waxaan codsanaynaa dawladda koonfur galbeedna u sheegaynaa madaxdiis iyo gudoomiyihii gobolka maxamed ibraahim barre inay hay'adihii quseeyaan oo sidii management amal ah inay dadkan wacyigeliyaan badbaadin si loo helo aad iyo aad
waay marka gudoomiye waxaad ii sheegtaa idinku ka maamul ahaan ma ogtihiin haddii ay jiraan ciyaal isku qoys ah ama isku hooyo isku aaba ah
wallahi dadka anaga qaar wixii dhinteen amaran ku siinay meesha in lagu duugo ma noo keenin wixii meesha ku nafwaaye 3 bisaa inta la keenay 3dana waalidiintooda waa wareystay laba kamid ah sawir waa ka haya kulli hadii wax loo qaban karo haday dawlad tahay haday hay'adaha samafalka tahay dadkii hadii laga soo raadiyo dad aan heli karno
waay ma jiraan dadka qaar ba waxay leeyihiin madaafiic oo xalay ilaa iyo maanta oo ciidanka admis ay ridayaan weey marka ma jiraan
maya been waay wax maanta Amazon ridda ma aha waa haraadada dagaalka oo meelaha oo ma aragtay nursery ha noqoto hoobiye ha noqoto meelaha ayaalan isku soo qaatay oo ayaalkan wada aan kala ogeeyno waay been waa madaafiic maanta la ridma
waayahay marka gudoomiye deegaanka oo dhibaatadu ay ka dhacday ma ciidanka dawladda jooga mise al-shabaab ayaa xukuma
wallahi al-shabaab adiga meel 5 kiiloomitir noo jirta waa anaga mar walba anaga aan tagna hadda adiga waa joogtaan ma la dhihi karo laakiin ciidan dawlad oo difaac oo u dhishan oo meesha joogo ma jiraan laakiin mar walba patrolkayna iyo kormeerkayna meesha waa u badan yahay waa tagnaa.
Lovely viewers, that's all we have prepared for you tonight from our desk here in Mogadishu. I would like to thank the Dalsan media fraternity for making this news bulletin a success. Wherever you're tuned in from, blessings galore and have yourselves a lovely night.